mighty fortress is our God, a stronghold never failing.
One of the things that the Jehovah's Witnesses will say is, listen, the Greek says you ought to translate John 1:1, a God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God, not God. Dr. Countess, what would you say about that translation?
If I may offer a little background, I'd say when a person makes a dogmatic assertion about the original language of the New Testament, that any of us has a right to ask that person to tell us about his or her background of study in it. And I have found that Jehovah's Witnesses over the year know enough Greek to be dangerous, but not enough to be knowledgeable. And I think most of you in the audience on TV or here tonight have a pastor who probably in college or seminary has studied enough Greek to deal with the problems that are raised, and you should encourage your pastor
For we
to
who
continue.
don't know that much Greek,
All right.
what would be some tip-offs that you could give to us that shows that we shouldn't believe what they say?
Okay. In my book, I devote a whole chapter to the matter of John 1:1.
Okay.
And the New World Translation basically goes like this in the edition I used, their 1951 edition. Originally, the Word was, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a, small g, O-D, a God. Now what I did tonight is to make a little chart, and I'm going to hold it up, and I hope everybody can see it adequately. Right up here I have the last part of that verse. Kai theos ein ho logos, John 1:1, and God was the Word. New World Translation assumed that because the word God, theos, right here, does not have a little Greek particle in front of it, which we call an article like the in English, they assumed that because that was not there, like in front of the word logos, ho logos, the Word, they assumed that this word theos must mean a God. Now, of course, the reason they assumed it was because their theology mandated that assumption.
Right. Before they opened the book, they were going to find that no matter what.
Right. They did not approach the Greek New Testament saying, let's see what John believed, and then we'll decide what we believe. They approached John's text saying, Jesus is a God. Now we're going to show people that John actually said that. Then they go on. I went on to show this, that the word theos for God in the New Testament in all of its various forms, and in Greek we have 24 uses of the article, masculine, feminine, neuter throughout 5 cases, and singular and plural number. In all forms we have 1,305 times plus or minus 1, 2, or 3. 1,023 of these times we find theos with the article, 282 times without the article, for a total of 1,305. Therefore, New World Translation should have 282 times a God in their translation, right?
Okay, that would be logical, right?
Okay, wrong. What we find out in practice is that the New World Translation, in fact, uses a God only 16 out of the 282 times, and we take our computers and we say that they are only 6% consistent or 94% dishonest in their approach.
In other words, wherever it grabs them, wherever they need it to fit their theology, they make up the rule.
Right.
This is not just one scholar. Dr. Julius Manti, president of International Greek Research, said this about John 1:1, a grossly misleading translation. It is neither scholarly nor reasonable to translate John 1:1, the Word was a God, but of all the scholars in the world, so far as we know, none have translated the verse as Jehovah's Witnesses have done. Bruce Metzger of Princeton University says it is a frightful translation, and that is, if you do not believe that Jesus is God, you're going to die in your sins. If you say that Jesus is a God, you've just created another false God. Griesbach says that it can't be done. Dr. Eugene Nida, he's the head of the Translation Department of American Bible Society. Dr. William Barclay, Westcott, of the verse that they use, Caldwell, F.F. Bruce, all the Greek scholars, except one.
Who's that one?
That one is Johannes Grieber, and He got his information.
Who's this guy,
directly-
Johannes Grieber, you keep bringing up?
Johannes Grieber was a spirit medium, and he translated a New Testament that Jehovah's Witnesses quote in Make Sure of All Things and in Aid to Bible Understanding.
So this is
And
their
he was the
scholar
Word.
that they
Who is
quote.
it?
All right.
In the beginning was the Word, but why was he misquoted? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
And there's only one translation that agrees with Jehovah's Witnesses, and that is a translation via a spirit medium with words from a demon.
What did Jehovah's Witnesses say when you point out Johannes Grieber, right in the introduction of his text, his translation, says that he got his information
Jehovah's
from...
Witnesses don't know who Johannes Grieber is, and when you write to the Watchtower, they won't tell you. In fact, I wrote to them under a pseudonym, and they sent me a letter, and they said that they have no idea where we could get a copy of the Johannes Grieber Bible. They sent me to an address, 88 North 4th Avenue in New York. Now, the building there was torn down 40 years ago. They were pretty sure that I couldn't get a translation there. I happened to find Johannes Grieber Memorial Foundation. It's 139 Hillside Avenue. Every Jehovah's Witness ought to write to them or to me, and you can get a copy. And Teaneck, New Jersey, and there I spotted a letter from the people who do not know where Johannes Grieber is. Here's the letter from the Watchtower to Johannes Grieber, and they're ordering 4 copies of the Johannes Grieber translation.
And that's the
which
book
is
that
a
we're
spirit
offering the
medium.
folks. You've got it all documented.
And you can go to the Watchtower in 1956, February 15th, 1956, and there they say very plainly, the spirits which ex-priest Grieber believes helped him in his translation. So there you've got a Watchtower that says Grieber got help from spirit mediums, and then they quote him, and he's the only support that they have for their A-God doctrine.